I'm Alma. Standing in front of the familiar yet now so foreign front door of my childhood home, I can't help but feel a strange sense of satisfaction. My father opens the door, his face a mask of confusion, like he's trying to read a language he's never learned. You own the company?" he stammers. I step inside without waiting for an invitation. My sister is there too, no trace of the haughty attitude she once had. She's just sitting there, quiet, like a deflated balloon. I take a deep breath and say calmly, "I made an offer. A generous one." My mother finally breaks the silence. "Why are you doing this?" she asks, her voice laced with a mix of confusion and hurt. I look at her, really look into her eyes, and say, "Because you taught me something important." Love in this house was always transactional. The silence that follows is heavy, like a thick fog. I continue, "So, here's the transaction. You have 30 days to leave, or you can stay. Under one condition. You pay rent." It all started years ago. I was part of a well-to-do family in a small, idyllic town. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were known for their strict and materialistic nature. My sister, Lily, was 5 years younger than me and had always been the apple of my parents' eyes. My father was a successful businessman, but he was also incredibly controlling. He believed that every member of the family should contribute to the household's financial well-being. My mother, on the other hand, was more passive, but she always sided with my father in matters of money. For as long as I can remember, I was the one who kept the family afloat. Even though I didn't have a high-paying job, I worked multiple part-time jobs to support my family. I was like their personal bank, always there to pay for Lily's expensive car, my parents' lavish vacations, and the ever-mounting bills. One fateful night, everything changed. I had lost my job, and I was in a state of panic. I went home, hoping for some understanding and support from my family. But instead, I was met with coldness and anger. Lily, with her arms folded, snapped at me, "Who's going to pay my car loan now?" Her words were like a dagger to my heart. My mother just stared at me, her eyes as cold as ice. And my father? He grabbed my suitcase and dragged it outside as if I was nothing more than garbage. "I can no longer house a jobless daughter," he said, his voice cold and unfeeling. I stood there for a moment, feeling the weight of all the years of sacrifice. But I didn't shout, I didn't beg, and I didn't shed a single tear. I simply said, "Okay," and walked away. Those first few weeks were tough. I had to find a place to stay and a new job. I moved into a small, run-down apartment and started applying for jobs day and night. Meanwhile, back at home, reality started to catch up with my family. 3 weeks after I left, Lily's car was repossessed by the bank. She had no way to get around, and her life came to a standstill. 2 months later, my parents' mortgage payments became a nightmare. Bills piled up like a tower on the verge of collapse. Calls from creditors went unanswered, and the lights in the house started to flicker. I watched all of this from a distance, saying nothing. I was too busy building something of my own. While I was still paying their bills, I had started a small business on the side. It was a slow and difficult process, but I was determined. I worked late into the night, making deal after deal, laying brick after brick. I created a company that was quiet, ruthless, and efficient. My family had no idea what I was doing. They only saw me as the daughter who was constantly drained of money. But I was building an empire in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to make my move. One day, I had amassed enough resources to make an offer on my family's house. I sent them a formal email, a crisp and polite acquisition notice. My father called me immediately, his voice shaking. "Do you know anything about this company trying to buy our property?" he asked. I was sitting on the balcony of my beautiful beach house, watching the waves curl like long, hidden secrets finally coming to the surface. I replied calmly, "Yes, I do." He was silent for a moment, then asked, "Who are they?" I couldn't help but smile as I said, "They're me." Now, standing in the living room of the house I grew up in, I look at my family. I never really wanted the house for myself. A week later, I sold it to a developer. They all had to leave anyway. I sent them a final message: "Now you know how it feels to be suddenly unaffordable." It was a harsh lesson, but one they needed to learn. And if this story has you clutching your chest in disbelief, then you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, because this was just the warm-up.